Hey everybody, this is Shock, and I saw this video. I really thought it was interesting. You have the atheist on the right, and then you have the Christian in the middle with the glasses on. And the Christian asks some very good questions, and I want to show you how the atheist answers it. And this is a big reason why atheists are now the least trusted group within society. So let's look at how the atheist fails to answer these questions, and I want you to notice how kind the Christian is as he asks the questions. I do want to warn you, the atheist does use profanity, but this video totally exposes the madness of atheism. So watch the first question he's going to ask now, the Christian, in the middle of our screen. He's going to say, why do atheists care if we worship God? And anyone here on YouTube knows that atheists are obsessed with bashing God. Now, have you ever have you ever noticed atheists never make videos bashing Satan? Could they be showing their bias, whose side they're on? I can't find not even one video on YouTube of atheists bashing Satan, but they sure spend their time a lot bashing God. Can it be any more obvious? I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. Who's your daddy? We know who their father is. So let's go ahead and play this. Listen to the Christian's question here in the middle of the screen, and then we're going to point out the madness of atheism.
Why do you care if people worship him?
Okay, good question. I'll answer this while I dance. Let's see. Why do I care if you believe in God? I don't.
Now, you ready for this? He's going to say, he says he doesn't care, but then he's going to say he does care. I'm not making this up. You're going to hear him say it because it interferes with food stamps. I swear to you, he says this. He says because it interferes because the government then passes laws where you can't get free food from the government. And by the way, there's no such thing as free food for the government. You and I, the wonderful, loving people of America, are paying for the food stamps. But he's going to talk about this food stamp program, the atheist guy on the right. Watch this. And he's very upset that someone's going to take away the food.
Don't. I really don't give a fuck if you believe in God. I don't. Where I do give a fuck is when like a politician says that, oh, we need to reduce SNAP benefits to people because the Bible fucking says that if you don't work, then you don't eat. That's why I give a fuck. Because politicians in particular, love to use the Bible in order to justify dumb ass fucking shit.
Now, I'm sorry about the language, but this is just madness. He's saying his reason why he cares that people believe in God is because of food stamps? That someone can cut food stamps? I don't get that. This is just weird. But this is the madness of atheism. And he doesn't really answer the question. He's just moving around saying he's upset about how people cut food stamps. Okay, so let's continue with the atheist madness. But let's go back to the Christian first, and he's going to ask another question.
And I realize I'm dancing without any kind of music. I'll edit it in later.
Seriously, can nothing create something?
All right.
Okay, this is great. Can nothing create something? Now, I told you guys about this last year, 2016. The trend now, because atheists are failing to convince people that atheism is accurate and correct. To this date, this guy here on the top right, he still hasn't proven that atheism is accurate and correct. The number one most subscribed to atheist, the amazingly hellbound atheist, he still hasn't proven that atheism is accurate and correct. The Atheist Experience Show still hasn't proven that atheism is accurate and correct. Penn Jillette still has not proven that atheism is accurate and correct. None of them have. The challenge is still out there. But now what they're trying to do, because modern science has vindicated Christianity, do you know that Christian scientists and secular scientists used to have a disagreement on the universe? The secular scientists, the atheist scientists used to say the universe was just eternal and uncaused. The Christian scientists, however, were saying no, the universe had a beginning. And it is true that the old fashioned Darwinian type science of that era did show that there was no proof and evidence that the universe had a beginning, but with modern science, ladies and gentlemen, Christians were vindicated, and now everyone knows that the universe had an absolute beginning. So the Christian here in the middle of the screen is asking, how could atheists believe that nothing could create everything? You have madmen, literally mad scientists like Lawrence Krauss going on the debate circuit saying that nothing created everything. Now, this guy on the right, the top right here, the atheist, watch how he tries to redefine what nothing is. Now, nothing is the absence of anything. However, he's going to admit right here that the definition of nothing in the atheist community is a made up definition. He's going to talk about the vacuum state, which is a sea of energy. And we know that prior to the Big Bang, everything had to come into existence. All matter, space, time, and also energy had to come into existence. It is not eternal. Watch how the guy on the right, the atheist, admits that the definition of nothing they use is not the normal definition, but basically a made up definition of nothing. Watch this.
Well, your definition of nothing is quite different than the actual nothing that exists. You think nothing as a bare space of nothing, nothing at all, right? But in reality, a bare space of what we perceive as nothing, like a vacuum or whatnot, still has some shit going on in there.
Now, did you hear what he just said? He just admitted that, well, their definition of nothing is really energy and a vacuum. That's the complete opposite of nothing. That's something. And that also had to come into existence. Watch this.
There are virtual particles that exist that pop in and out of existence. So I don't understand why it's so unbelievable that something can come from nothing when your book, well,
Watch this.
okay, Christianity,
He's going to
as
say,
well
how
as
can God
Abrahamic
create
religions
out of nothing?
think that God literally created something or everything out of nothing. So yeah, I would say that you having a problem with something coming from nothing is a problem for your own faith, not for my science. And dance.
Now, wait a minute. Christians don't say that something came from nothing. We're saying that there's a creator, that everything came from him. What the atheist is saying, not to stop his dance party here, but what the atheist is saying is that nothing did it. It is madness in its purest form to say that nothing did it. But this is the tough sell that our sweet, cuddly, huggable atheist friends are trying to sell to the rational world. Unfortunately, the best scientists throughout history are not atheists. They're Christians. They're people that believe in reality that God exists. It's pretty tough to believe that nothing created everything. And I put this to you, what makes more sense? That the universe just popped out of nothing uncaused, or that there was a creator that caused it? Something caused the universe to come into being. Nothing has no power. Nothing is ineffective. Nothing is actually the absence of anything. Don't put gasoline in your car and try driving long distance, and you're going to find that you run out of gas because there's nothing in it. So the atheist is wrong again and again and again. This is proof and evidence that atheism is madness. Let's go to the next question.
If you've never been to the ends of the earth, if you've never been to every planet, if you've never been to every part of the universe, how do you know that God doesn't exist?
Oh, this is brilliant. We're going to let the atheist talk here, and then I'm going to elaborate on it. But the atheist incorrectly says, this is God of the gaps. And we're going to point out the atheist error after this, but the Christian just said, how can you say that you know that God doesn't exist when you've never even traveled beyond the edge of the universe? You've never, there's parts of the universe that we don't even know about. Very good question. I'm going to elaborate on this after the atheist fails here in his answer. And I apologize about the, profanity he's going to use.
Okay, well, he that's that's a literal like God of the gaps kind of
No,
mentality there.
wrong definition,
That's
buddy.
exactly what that is.
No, it's
Because it's
not.
like, oh, you mean to tell me your ass hasn't been all the way down to the very bottom of the Marianas Trench? You haven't explored the jungles of the Amazon? You don't know if God doesn't exist. Have you lived on Mars? Fuck you. You don't know if alien God exists.
Now, he goes off on a gross tangent here. So uh, basically, this is a great question. The atheists tend to have this arrogance to them. You probably notice it. Like, because we're using modern science and we're using rational thinking, we're the dumb ones when they're the ones that are the stupid ones. Now, what this Christian asked, the guy on the left, what he asked was brilliant. When you really think about it, as large as the universe is, and of course we also have the spiritual realm, but if you even just take the universe and you analyze how large the universe is, and you were to ask, let's say the dancing atheist here on the top right, if you were to ask him, what knowledge do you have of the universe? Let's put a number on it. Would you say you have 1% knowledge of what's out there in the universe? I would say that we collectively, all of us here on Earth, we don't even have knowledge of 1% of what's out there in the universe. So when you really think about it, how can this atheist here, the dancing atheist dude, say that he's sure that God doesn't exist? He really can't say that. All the evidence is pointing towards God existing. For example, just to let me say something to help the dancing atheist out here. When a Christian looks at the world and we look at the universe and we look at science and we look at DNA and we look at these things, we ask ourselves, what is the best rational explanation of these things? What is the best explanation of design? We wouldn't say randomness. What is the best explanation of DNA, which is a language? We know that intelligence creates language, a mind creates language. We would say design. From time to time, I'm going to put a video below here of me riding the motorcycle. And in this video, if you click right below this video here, I'll put the link. In that video, I talk about how if I were to get all the pieces of the motorcycle and just throw them out in a field, and they were all to come together precisely and work together just by randomness, would you believe it? And nobody would believe it. They would say, yeah, right, you're smoking something or taking some type of narcotic if you were to believe that the motorcycle could just come together, you know, by sheer luck and randomness. But this is what atheists are trying to push onto a rational society. He believes, the guy on the right believes that nothing did it. If you believe that nothing did it, you will stop at no type of madness. You will believe in anything. And this, my friends, is the madness of atheism. Click right below this video. I'm going to put a video there. It's titled, You're Going to Die. And I think that explains it best. God bless you guys. And avoid atheism. Remember, we should all get bumper stickers. Friends don't let friends become atheists.